This is Hidden Killers Live with Tony Bruschi, Stacey Cole, and Todd Michaels.
David, or D4vd, if you're playing along at home going, David, what's David? That's David. If you've been hearing about this case of the R&B singer who had the 15-year-old in his trunk, that's this story. And we're going to dive into it. Retired FBI Special Agent Robin Dreeke is here to join us and help us break this whole thing down. To put it into context a little bit, let's rewind a little bit. September 8th, 2025, the body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez found wrapped in plastic in the trunk of a Tesla registered to David. She'd been missing since April of 2024. The car had been abandoned, towed, and only discovered after impound staff smelled something. And then they looked in the trunk. And in a Tesla, that's in the front of the car. And they found, from what we're understanding, a dismembered body wrapped in plastic. No charges filed. Cause of death is still pending. There was enough on the body to recognize that there was a tattoo that said, "Shh," on her hand. The same tattoo that David happens to have, and it also happens to be kind of one of his, slogans, memes. I don't know what you want to call it. It's a creepy case. He's a fairly macabre artist, but macabre doesn't always necessarily mean you're out killing people. Robin, when you first heard about the missing child discovered in his car, what was standing out to you right away? What was the first thing that hit your mind? What were you wondering?
I got a quick flash of Diddy in my mind. Like we all did. Just like, wow, here's another music artist kind of going off the rails, potentially. And I always caveat things with potentially. And I think this really goes to the mindset of how we do what we do. And that is, I start immediately with, all right, what is a typical profile of someone in... So we have a dead person found in someone's car, and I start looking at law of averages, and I look at profiles of what typically happens, and then I just look for deviations from that. So the first thing I did get was, wow, this is just another Diddy type of situation. But then we have the age bracket in here too, and this will also. Boy, I know what a long answer. I have so many things that go through my mind.
There's a lot. No, I know. There's so many pieces to this.
And I think this is a key element of this too, because there's potentially things in here if he is accused, if he's tried on this, and just the ages of both of them, because this goes to a lot of cases we've been covering, guys, and that is, I have said this routinely about Kohberger, about the assassin of Kirk, and I say these people are stupid and that they're morons. And we've had some pushback saying, oh, no, these people tested high on IQ tests and they have great grades. And no, so here's what I want to mention in these things. When I say people are morons and stupid that are committing these crimes, because I'm always looking at their emotional intelligence, because emotional intelligence is the true ability for someone to function in society. IQ can be off the charts, but they're still emotionally so inept that they do stupid things. And then when you hit the age group like this guy's in, again, boy, I'm really jumping ahead. If we look at the age group of people that have been doing these types of things, that's before the prefrontal lobe's fully formed, and so they're so given to emotional impulse without any kind of regulation going on there, that it's really stupid acts that happen. And so that's what really hit me on this one, was that if I'm looking at law of averages, a dead body found in a car. I looked up the stats, believe it or not. I think it's like 80 or 90%. Oh, here it is. 70-90% of the people found in a person's car is the killer is the owner of the car.
So the odds aren't in his favor if we're playing the odds game right now.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
And then you look at behavior arcs, because then that's when I start doing my deep dive of behavior arcs, of tattoos, of music, of timing. And then I'll just, that's what I did. Yeah. So that's those are the first million things that hit my mind.
There's so many things on this, and I want to note to anybody listening to this right now or watching this. We're recording this on Friday the 26th, and this is a very fast-moving case. There's a lot of things that are going on. I would not be remotely surprised that if you're not watching us live right now, by the time you're watching this in its replay or when we post it in sections, in segments, they may have already arrested him. So let that be known. So because you get they already arrested. Yeah. Yes, there's time windows as to which this works. So we are aware, but we don't know. As of this moment in time, no charges. As of this moment, maintaining his innocence. I've heard mixed reports now from several different sources that he's cooperating with investigators, and I've also heard nobody knows where the hell he is. There's so much misinformation right now. It's very difficult, and you get a lot of misinformation when there's not a lot coming out about it as well. And look, law enforcement has no obligation to the public at this moment in time while they're in an active investigation to tell us much of anything. They have to figure out what the heck's going on. Let's speak to that for a second. And again, this moment may be dated shortly, but what it applies to a lot of investigations because we haven't heard a whole lot out of them as of this moment. Why do you think that may be from law enforcement?
On which side, Tony? The David's side or the
from law enforcement side on this with the investigation going on?
I'm thinking again. I'm going to go glass half full, and law enforcement doing a great job. And I would say they are preoccupied with a lot of data coming in. They just conducted searches. They're doing a lot of interviews. They're trying to quickly establish whether they have enough to actually detain and arrest him prior to him being able to move and flee with the resources he has. And so I'm thinking that they are so focused on getting what they need to do to make an arrest that they don't want to focus on anything else. And also, if they give any leakage, so this talks to also the experience potential level of their media reps and what they're being advised to do. If you're not quite sure on what you're going to say is going to hurt what you're currently doing, it's best to say nothing, because again, if it's fast moving and they don't want to give any hints or ideas that they're really on to him as a suspect, which would give him reason to flee, it's better to say nothing. I think it's just because it's so fresh, it's so early. I mean, this only happened a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, doesn't he have to know that they're onto him? I mean, that they're certainly watching him. I mean, I don't. Is there anything they could do at this point that would make him flee? I mean, they're in his house. They're going through his stuff. Last night we were reporting from Brian Enton saying that they're breaking down the drain system of the house.
Yep. I watched that too.
Yeah, to see if there was body fluids and stuff in the drain system. So if he did it, he's got to know he's going to be caught very, very quickly. Again, not that they have any obligation to tell us much of anything, but I'm going to assume it's more so let's find some solid piece of evidence here that links him directly so we don't go in too quick. Yeah,
again, you just don't know the experience level of the police department and their media people. You really don't. I mean, we've seen it all over the place. The Kohberger case started out horrendously with their lack of communication. Then they started getting their shit together. Yeah, kinda. We give that a lot of credit to the victims, obviously, on that one. And then you have your case, where do you live again?
In Arkansas, in the over here where Sarah Huckabee called this out.
Which was a complete disaster on communication. So I really just think it's the level of their competence when it comes to media reps.
And there's not a danger to the public per se in this case. It seems. No. I mean, this is someone. I'm assuming they probably know where he is. Probably have eyes on him. And if there was an attempt to flee, I would think that they'd be on it at this moment in time. But there's just so many questions that are left unanswered. Stacey, when you saw that,
and I'm sorry to interrupt, Tony, because I think that's a really key important point here about. His age level and experience level is very, very low. So when I first started out, the first impressions I had is Diddy-ish, except the difference is Diddy had decades of reps. His entourage around him too, the age, and so, if he's a suspect, which I think he's obviously is going to be a suspect, he's very young. His entourage around him is very young, very immature. So there's not a lot of really good planning that anyone's doing that's going to be able to hide him if he's trying to. So that's why I don't think they're worried.
Yeah, and Didier in the standpoint of lack of care for or empathy, it seems, for other humans, if in fact he has anything to do with this. But the entourage, I mean, the atmosphere, the culture around, somebody in the culture around thought this was a good idea, whether it's him or somebody, we don't know who or why, that putting a body in the trunk of the Tesla was going to be a A-okay way of getting rid of a body. Stacey, when you saw the video initially, the music video where he's putting the body, I mean, he's playing the victim and the killer in the video, just the macabre elements of it, the darkness that it has, and then you hear that there's a body literally in this guy's trunk. What was your reaction?
Well, sometimes life imitates art and art imitates life. I'm wondering if there wasn't some sort of an accident of some sort. Something went wrong and they panicked, and that was what they knew. And they just decided, well, let's try this. But again, how dumb are you? Go rent a car, go steal a car, something, that's get your own car, dumbass.
I just want a clip of that, of Stacey calling him a dumbass.
Double down on stupid again. I'm just really,
I'm serious.
These people are just so stupid. I just, when you're covering cases that are so horrendous, the arc in all of them is just stupid people doing stupid things. And it's tragic and sad for the victims. I
mean, if you play this out, I mean, there's two roads that this could go. Either he put the body there or he didn't put the body there. If he did put the body there, then you have to go down the road of, okay, what happened? Was this a murder? Was this an accident? And that will certainly determine a lot of things. But the sheer fact that the body is there, that would be insane. Is that him in some sort of weird way having his art live through his life? Or to me, it almost feels in a weird way of, is this someone that's really trying to set him up? And it looks even more macabre that there's a body in the trunk of the guy who has the music video of the body in the trunk. I'm trying to wonder if this is some sort of real weird twisted art type piece, a la Brian Kohberger, where I want to go do it to experience it, or I'm very macabre, I'm very dark, and I'm gonna go live this experience, and then I'll be that much more experienced to create art and music around it. That sounds insane, but so does the idea that Brian Kohberger killed 4 people for educational purposes.
Yeah, Kohberger's always a challenging one to reference anyone to because he had such a broken brain. I mean, he's pure psychopathy when we just talk in terms of predator. David doesn't strike me the same just because there's more substance to that background. The other thing we're also missing with him too, and I tried as hard as I could, there's a lot of data points missing on his life arc from here. We know he was homeschooled, we know he single mom, religious background, but other than that, we don't have a lot. What we do have, we have data points on the type of music he created, the themes of the music he created, the tattoos. So we have limited data points. When it comes to young 20-year-olds, I don't give a lot of credence to anyone having big plans or being very smart about what they do. Now here, and you mentioned the idea of a potential setting him up or framing him, and I know some people want to go down that road. I always say in the cases like this, I always say maybe. But in particular with this, if your car's missing, you're going to notice your car's missing for a period of time. So that's why he's involved. So here's why I think it's safe to say, because it's his vehicle, because he didn't report the vehicle being missing or stolen, he's involved in some way. I think that's pretty safe to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly the odds of this being is set. I mean, how often do we see that actually being the case? So that's what we see in movies a lot. Exactly. Is that the answer? Just never in reality? Just never?
Not yet. Better is a good way to put it. Not yet.
It's got to be a first at some point, right?
They become the outliers, and
Yeah.
then that's why you always say maybe. We go where the stats go. We go where the investigation goes. But the law of averages. In fact, God, I hate to chuckle when people die. It's not about her death, but what happens is it becomes the stats and the profiles are so against him in this one that it becomes laughable.
Innocent till proven guilty. As of right now, not charged with anything, but obviously
other than stupidity.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
That's an easy one.
What if it was somebody else who had the car? Then is it stupidity for? I mean, I guess it would be stupidity on the level of letting someone else use your vehicle.
Well, and to Robin's point, why wouldn't you report it? Why wouldn't you miss your car? I mean, I freak out if I can't find my car in a parking ramp.
Yes, I've done that a few times too. But I mean, keep in mind, he's a celebrity, meaning probably not necessarily grounded in a lot of reality at the same time, of material possessions in the same way we would relate to those sort of things, and care and concern for that, especially when you're 20 and you're driving around in a Tesla and you've known this kind of fame since the age of 15. You probably have a bit of a warped mind. You have a mind that's probably, has not adjusted the way the rest of the world would have, or the way another mind would have, not being in that sort of spotlight or situation with that level of adoration for a growing brain. Celeste was missing for 17 months, from April of 24 to September of 25. Reports suggest she ran away multiple times, with police retrieving her once in Hollywood. The gap, shows us that there's the prolonged influence, possibly. Grooming is the word I'm seeing being thrown around here quite a bit. I don't know how long these two knew each other. We don't know if they did know each other officially yet, but I mean, judging by the evidence that's out there, it looks like there was some sort of a relationship. We're talking at a time where he would have been underage, possibly, and she was also underage. We're now in a world where obviously she is dead. She'd have been 15, he'd have been 20 now. I would not be okay with that as a parent by any means, but you go back a few years and it would have, it still would have been weird. I don't see any way where this would not have been weird. I'm trying to think of the senior freshman type thing where one's a few years older, and when you're in your late 20s, 30s, 40s, that age gap doesn't matter. But now it really does matter. It's creepy as shit that this was going on. And if this did go all the way back to earlier in his career, it would have put her at 12 or something when they started seeing each other. So you have that. A lot of people are saying that they believe that these are just sources around him saying they thought that this was his girlfriend, and that they had no idea that this child was 15. They all thought that she was older, that she presented as older, and he allegedly presented her as older. At least never said flat out, "Hey, look, she's this young." What do you make of that end of all this in the decision-making processes?
It's intentional. So she had a lot of fake IDs. Apparently, she is claiming to be older than she was. She had run away from home multiple times. So she had life reps when it comes to experiencing life outside of a very cloistered home. So that would give a presentation to people in that age group as being potentially older, even if she didn't necessarily look older. And and his behavior with going again, these are such difficult, challenging things to do, because as I'm looking at it, and I was looking online about how they potentially met. Again, it's all potential. Is that she was watching him on a lot of TikTok videos, and because that's where he got his initial fame from. And if you're learning about someone online in an online community in a very 5-second highlight reel kind of way, it's easier to develop a relationship, I would think, irrespective of age. And then when you meet each other, so think about this. So if he is going to have a slightly immature aspect about himself because of what he's doing and who he is, and she's got a slightly more mature aspect because of her of her life reps of constantly putting herself out there in the real world, running away from home and such. Somewhere in the middle, they're going to kind of balance out. So I know that word grooming's been out there, and grooming does take place with that age gap about 5 years. But at the same time, though, it's not as profound as I've seen, because typically at this age we're seeing kind of middle 20s to late 20s if we're actually got a true grooming thing. So I'm not discounting it, but I'm just it's a little, all these things with the situation are kind of mainstream of what we see, but there are some outlier aspects to it is a better way to put it. And the tattoo thing really struck me on this one, because they're mentioning that with grooming. I saw, so you're always looking for what I think first. When I first saw that tattoo, the first thing that popped in my mind, the first word I thought of was branding. Branded his. And so, which is an element, because what I did then was I said, well, let's look at, because here's where my curiosity sparked. Let's look at the behaviors that the positive and negative behaviors between matching tattoos, as well as where's the overlay with his typical music that he composes. And so the overlay is control, insecurities, dark themes, dark relationships. And so that's where the overlay happened between those two. So that's what that's where I'm thinking on this
and that's where it gets, that's where it feels like, it's like, is it the art imitating life? Is it life imitating art?
I think the art's an expression of the emotions he has. I mean, so when it came to his art, where I really thought of originally was Taylor Swift, believe it or not, because, she puts her relationships out in her songs and how she sees the world. And a lot of artists do that, more profound with some, I think. And I think I got the same sense of him as well. It's like, this is how he sees the world through this kind of it's an intimate, dark relationship kind of way. Anyway, that was what I was thinking of that.
The good news is, though, with Taylor, the art expression doesn't end with a body in the trunk. There's that.
Although maybe wanted to.
Well, there've been a few. Yeah, there's a few rage songs that she's had that just, she was pissed. You can feel it. They're great songs to play when you've been wronged, but nobody ended up dead.
No dark themes. So those were relationships that ended poorly from her perspective, but no dark themes. His themes are always dark, because actually, what was the lyric? Song lyrics.
I really would like you to sing this lyric when you pull it up, Robin.
Never.
Let's do a beat.
Tony, I've listened to you sing a few times on the show now, and I'll say it.
He's an FBI guy, not a singer.
FBI karaoke is what we're going to start doing here on the show.
Strengths here.
The only stuff I would do would be Elvis.
Can you do the David lyric in an Elvis voice?
Yeah, let's do that.
No, I'm laughing because
just do every line with thank you very much at the end. It'll be great.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
what's the lyric? Let's hear the lyric in the Elvis voice from Robin.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm going like 6 pages of notes right now trying to find it anyway.
Yeah. But there are a lot of questionable things certainly with the content. There is a lot of there's a lot of.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Romantic homicide was it. That's his main one. His lyrics often explore dark themes of obsession, heartbreak, and violence, like in romantic homicide. And here's the lyric: "Is I want to make you feel suicidal, feeling speculation of emotional manipulation and threats." That's a key line in there.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
You when I listen to music, I like to listen to it because I can relate to it, because it's something that makes me feel good, or makes me just kind of let emotions out, things of that nature. I can't think of any time I'd be listening to the lyrics of a song and go, I want to make you feel suicidal.
So he's a great.
I don't know where that's ever gonna.
So think about it though. Who's this attract then? And you're right. It's like even when when people ask me, so, when I bring in clients to where I'm going to coach or teach or give keynotes to, people always say, so, do you have to screen clients? I said, generally, I don't really have to do too much, because if you're attracted to my messaging, which is about being very optimistic, building trust, building healthy, strong relationships, understanding others, being able to predict behavior, I'm going to attract typically people that are into that. And so same thing here, though. It doesn't make sense to us because we don't have that mindset, but who would be attracted to this is those people that actually have that idealization potentially, or they have those things running through their mind, fears inside. So music attracts us to things that make us feel, remember, we're going to consume information. It validates our own self-opinion and actually echoes in our own echo chamber. So and here's the darkness of this too, because we've been covering a lot of the self-radicalization with other people right now recently, these other horrendous misguided people. And when you think about dark music can be really a form of self-radicalization as well, where you start going inside these echo chambers, especially when it's because this isn't a typical music environment, although it's evolved in that, where most of his notoriety and fame came through TikTok, which is nothing but an algorithm fed self-radicalization tool, really.
Yes, run by the Chinese. To make us all upset and hate each other.
Can we just put nice music out there for everyone?
I don't think you would see this with Christopher Cross.
No.
I don't think, it's like, say, the words, the original lyrics to Sailing, take me away to where I'm going so I can dump your body where no one can see. Did you know that? Original lyrics, sailing takes me away to dump your body when no one can
now
see.
It's got an upbeat feeling to it.
When you take a look at like The Weeknd, the singer of The Weeknd, he is really dark. And I didn't realize that until I saw some of his videos. I knew his songs were about like redemption and substance abuse and isolation and what it's like being a celebrity, but I didn't realize how dark his stuff was. If you look at his videos, if you look at how he really leans into the art form, there's a lot of artistic makeup and things like that. It's very violent looking. It changed how I listened to his music. It made me a little uncomfortable because I go to music to be uplifted and for optimism. It just really bothered me. And I love his music. I love his sound, but just that portrayal of the darkness, it wasn't like an Ozzy Osbourne darkness. It was more of a weaved into the music, and it was part of the package. Whereas Ozzy was just like right in your face. I'm the dark one,
Well,
and also, and Stacey, these are great points too, because it also depends on if you are the writer of your own music or not too, because I love this music talk. We've never done this before.
I know, I love it.
So one of my favorite artists, because she is, so, in my mind, she's so talented as a writer and a performer and everything, is Lady Gaga. Yes. And I loved Abracadabra because she.
I was just gonna say that.
Because I love the making of it when she talks about it, because it's the chaos in her mind that she's going through. So music, when it's written by and performed by the person, really gives you data points on their arc and helps you understand them at that deeper level, like you understand Gaga at that deeper level, which I really enjoy part of it too. Same thing with Taylor Swift, whether you like her or not. I mean, it is really, you can see her life arc and journey through what she does and what she performs. And so to David's point too, he writes his own content and performs his own content, not stuff that's written for him. So you can really gain a deeper understanding of where his mind's at. And when you see, so part of my assessment what this was understanding he writes and performs his own content with those deep, dark themes. Then you look at these other data points that are coming in, the type of people like this girl that Celeste being gravitated towards that. So there's most likely data points that reinforce those things about her. She runs away from home a lot, comes from a very similar home. From the sounds of it, from what I've seen on social media, as he does. So there's a lot of commonality there, reinforcing each other, like cascading. And then you put, teenager and 20-year-old together with stupid things, and stupid things happen.
Can we take his lyrics and bring them into a court case? I mean, do these lyrics somehow implicate him in this crime?
It's really interesting. I think they'll be looking. So here, now I'll put my investigator hat back on. So I would be looking at that as potential clues, because there's no coincidences in everything. There's always some sort of. I'm always seeing what leakages there are, and so I think I think is a good way to put it. I think there's potential leakage in his lyrics, whether it's directly tied to her, or is tied to his mindset. And because it seems that there seems to be a very interesting overlay with, especially his recent one with, killing someone and putting a body in the back of a car in a trunk, even though it was his own body. As the investigator, I'd be looking at potential leads that I could get through his lyrics or ideas about directions to go. Because it seems to be an expression of himself and a kind of cathartic self-medicating, and it does with a lot of artists. I think is that it's a way to kind of work through challenges. Some people journal, some people write lyrics, some people go for runs. So I think this might be his outlet to working through his own life challenges. And so if that's the case, it's almost like reading his lyrics is almost like reading his journal.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think to answer your question, Stacey, about could that be used in court, they didn't use any of Diddy's lyrics in his trial.
Right.
Yeah.
So they didn't use any of R. Kelly's lyrics in his trial either. So the answer is probably no. But does it tell us a lot about what's going on? Does it put some context to it? Certainly. Without a doubt. But is that something that would be admissible in court? I mean, if it is true, and this is an if as of right now, if there is that song Celeste that they found in his house, that would be admissible because it is directly relating to her with her name in the title. Something like that would be. But just to grab some lyrics from some song that doesn't necessarily have a direct tie to a specific thing, that would be that'd be, I think, different.
Yeah, and defense would rip that apart pretty quickly as just being art. And so because you painted a depiction of a murder or homicidal situation, does that make you a killer? So I think defense would rip that apart. Now, what I think they might be able to do, again, I'm not the lawyer, as you guys know. I would look for if they could actually get data and evidence that would actually say, hey, here's linkages between the two. So they could actually establish a pattern of, hey, here's a situation where his lyrics actually matched up one for one with X, Y, and Z. And so if you're going for extra data points, it would actually show an arc of congruence between those two. And so if they're looking to fill a gap, say, well, if this lyric in this song matched up exactly with this evidence, and this matched up with this evidence, then here we have another lyric. We don't have quite evidence here, but they can present it to a jury. Says, hey, well, logically, this would actually follow that parallel evidence.
Well, and when we look at this, we're talking about the David case, and we're talking about where this is all going as of right now. And as I've said before, it should be noted, we're recording this on Friday the 26th of 2025 in September. He has not been arrested. He has not been charged. He is innocent until proven guilty. We are talking about a lot of this allegedly, hypothetically, what if, as a lot of evidence that we're seeing on the outside seems to point in a specific direction, but we'll let the authorities ultimately come up with that. Right now, it's just a lot of speculation. Unhealthy certainly attracts unhealthy. And I think we can all recognize that in our own lives when we've been in difficult situations or had a dark time or a moment. Sometimes you do. You lean into darker things, and that could be darker music that relates to how you're feeling. It could be writing, it could be movies, it could be Lifetime. but sometimes you get stuck in those places and you continue to absorb it, and then that perpetuates a cycle, which is a scary thing about social media and TikTok, which is where David got his fame. If you're into that sort of content, or if you're just visiting because it's a dark moment and this sort of speaks to you cathartically at that moment in time, and I'm not judging. I'm sure you could find lyrics in this music. I'm sure almost anybody could probably find some lyrics in this music and go, okay, I could relate to that in some way, shape, or form at some point in my life. Not necessarily putting bodies in trunks, but when you have that, you get sucked in sometimes too, especially when it feeds you over and over and over. Oh, you like more of this? You want some more dark? Is this going to feed that itch? And you just get digging deeper and deeper and deeper. That's my long preface and setup to the question I have for Stacey. When you were talking earlier about the Weeknd, and you love his music, but you've realized kind of how dark some of it can be. And we're not like, oh, he's the devil, he's satanic or anything like that, but just it's a darker content. Were you more drawn to that at a time in your life where you were more in an unhappier place versus when you're in a happier place? Are you drawn to it now? Are you drawn to it the same way and want to listen to it the same when you were then?
You know, it's interesting that you bring that up, and forgive me, I muted myself because they were mowing the lawn quite loudly outside my window.
Sorry, I'm in a campground, Stacey, so you're good.
Okay, good. Fireworks going off, all kinds
Only
of stuff.
you can prevent forest fires, Robin.
Yeah, but you know, not to dwell on my personal situation, but I've listened to a few of his songs recently. Just you know, if you're in a melancholy mood, going through a few things, and then it's in such a key that I felt like I had to get out of it. And it's interesting, Robin, that you brought up Abracadabra, because I immediately go to that song. Mm-hmm. I have gone to that song many, many times just because of its beat, its feel, it just slams, it just gets in there and hits your soul. And, you know, being in radio for 20 plus years, music is a huge part of my life. It's interwoven through everything that I do. So if I'm listening to a song, or if I send you a song and say, this reminds me of this, it means I've really thought about it. It's not like, oh, a great beat, I'm sending it to you. No, I have thought about this. Music, when I guess a couple months into my life, I was gravitating toward music. Like my mom said that I would perk up and, you know, just immediately stop crying if she turned music on. So it's something that's ingrained in me. So listening to The Weeknd kind of brought me down.
Yeah. I'm guessing it brought you down, but it also probably felt somewhat cathartic at the same time. It's like junk food. I mean, not saying his music is junk food, but you're consuming it in a way that's not helping. It's like, this feels good. It's scratching that itch in the moment, but it's not helping the whole problem. It's not something that's going to be long-term helpful. And I guess my direction I'm going with that, because I think we all do that. It doesn't hit you the same when you're not in that place.
But you have to come out of it. You can't sit and listen to sad songs all day, have that good cry, be pissed,
but crumple
up the Kleenex and then be done and go find something that's going to pull you back out.
And there's always been dark music. This is not the first time. And there's been, you know, death metal and this or that. And you can think of remember the kids in high school that were into that. And it's like they dressed dark. There's always been dark music. It's not like this is new or anything like that. But I'm just speaking all across the board. If you just consume it, especially young minds, if you're 12, 13, 14, 15, and you're getting into the music and understanding yourself, and you find yourself drawn into this because you may like the music. I listened to some of his stuff. I didn't know much of David, but I listened to it. I like R&B. I'm like, oh, I kind of like the music. I like the beat. I don't really relate to his lyrics or anything like that, but if I was around that age, I probably would have found it enjoyable in terms of the overall sound. But you get into that, and then at a younger age, you have no reps in life. You don't know how to get out of that. And you don't necessarily know that there's another side to anything either, if that's pretty much the only path that you've seen is this sort of art being put in front of you, and you basically are being programmed to consume it and like it more and more by the TikTok gods of the world that just keep feeding it to you. You don't get the option necessarily. We're back on the radio. You listen to what we decided you wanted to listen to.
That was the algorithm.
That was us going up, down, up, down. It wasn't just like, let's be Depress FM. But, you know, looking back, maybe there should have been a Depress FM.
I was just going to say,
I think,
you know, Delilah was kind of, I mean, not to slam Delilah, but it was, you know, if you were going through heartbreak, you would tune in Delilah because it's all love songs and you probably end up crying, you know, in the second hour and like, okay, I got to get away from this shit.
I guess it's the psyche that I'm trying to go at with all of this, that whole point, very long-winded, but I think we had to walk through those steps to get there. These kids that are consuming it this way, we all had dark stuff, yes, but we didn't have it punched at us and programmed specifically for each individual brain and each individual's idiosyncrasies that we have today. The music's always been there, but we didn't have it coming at us 50 different ways. And it's only that because it knows we're going to listen to that longer. That's very different than any way any other generation has ever been brought up or fed information at very formative ages.
Well, and the big reason for that gets fed like that too is because you have TikTok. And
yeah, it's my point. Yeah.
Right, because so when we were growing up, we had all these different segments throughout our day where, all right, I can sit at home and I can listen to the radio of the algorithm of Tony, what he's going to put on the radio. But at some point, I got to go. I got to go to work. I got to go to school. I got to go mow lawns. I got to chop wood. I got to cut grass. All these types of things. So it puts us all these different things. But what's going on a lot right now is, especially with this generation where the self-radicalization and the assassination culture is coming about, is because when people are feeling they have no purpose and there's no economic possibility for the future, and all these types of things are happening with a sector of that younger generation, it's easier than kept getting sucked into this algorithm of the self-radicalization, the echo chambers, which makes music like this even. It's not, well, I don't want to say music like this because there's elements, there's art here, but when you're actually consuming it as part of who you are, we are. So let's go back to the human behavior side.
Yeah.
100%. We are what we consume, both as nutrition as well as information. And if you are consuming nothing but these negative, dark thoughts, it is what's going to become who you are, is negative, dark thoughts. It's feeding that beast inside and letting it bloom instead of having to go all over the place. And when you're thinking about, Stacey, talking about songs you start off the day with, since, as you all know, I'm the eternal optimist, glass half full guy. I start out with, I'm an AC/DC Thunderstruck guy, man. I am up and going.
Yes.
And if I want some good poetry in life, I'm Meatloaf. Paradise by the Dashboard Light, man. There we go.
Friday at 5:00. Yep.
That's right. Yes.
Yep. That's what we used to play.
Can I need to share this. One of my best friend, we were driving in a car, and the car, it was a BMW, and it was just a gorgeous car. It was rented. And we're like, the stereo system is incredible. What should we play? And he suggested Thunderstruck. And I swear to God, I think I'm deaf, a little bit deaf because of that 4-minute experience. It was so loud, and the entire car just like blew up from the sound. It was so fabulous. That song just gets you going. I just had to share that.
And the story behind how it was made and how it came to be, I just love too. So it's just one of those things that, if you want to get pumped up, if you're having a bad day, put that on for a while. And also, it's funny, I got songs that represent my kids as well from movies that we watched together growing up. So I'll throw those on at a certain point throughout the day. And so even before coming on and talking with you all, I make sure we, good pump up music. You never know what we're going to talk about when we get on these things together, do we?
You don't. You don't. Well, I want to talk more about the music a little bit in terms of, again, he's never been charged with anything as of this moment. He maintains his innocence.
I got the lines too.
All of that, everything's alleged, okay? So right now we're talking hypothetically about what could be going on here. And so hypothetically, let's say you're someone like D4vd and you have music that is fairly dark. It speaks to a certain mindset. It speaks to certain sects of the population who, are not in a great place. Certainly, it's not rocket science here to say that Celeste was not in a great place mentally if she's running away multiple times. Things aren't hunky-dory in her mind. I'm not saying they weren't hunky-dory at home. I have no idea what her home environment was like. But in her brain, that's what we're talking about. She wasn't in a good place. And you have the music that is being created by someone like this that would then attract that type of person to you. And if you're bringing in young girls that are feeling this way, look, I'm not saying the music is designed to be predatory, but it could be weaponized to be predatory if that's what your goal was with a child, because that kid's going to listen to that and go, oh, he gets me, he relates to me. And if you are predatory, You would act on that. If you're not, you'd be like, I'm glad my music speaks to you. Let me sign the autograph. Thanks for coming. It's going to be a brighter day, but I'm glad I can help you through it. If you're going the other direction, and I'm not saying he did, we don't know, but they are searching his drain pipes right now for bodily fluids, that it could be very easily weaponized.
Yeah, and it's interesting you put it that way too, and it could be weaponized. Now I keep going back to his age though, but again, he's been doing it since he's been 15. He's 20 years old now.
Not even consciously weaponizing it, I think, especially when you're that young and you're going into like when you're that young.
And I'll say not yet. So the way these things typically happen, you know, when bad things eventually happen, when someone's going down that dark triad of life, it's not just 0 to 100. So I don't think, you know, someone at this age is intentionally weaponizing things or even thinking in that way. But what happens is if you see the effect that things are, the cause and effect of all your actions, the music you're putting out, and you're getting attracted, if you're attracting certain people to it, and they're worshiping you in certain ways, you're now going to start seeing the cause and effect for what you're doing. And so at a certain point, as your life arc is continuing, as in the case with Diddy, potentially, is that it's like, wow, if I do this, and this is the cause and effect. So it becomes more of a conscious thought process. I don't think someone at the age of 20 has much of a conscious thought process going. They're very reactive emotionally to the world around them and the stimulus coming in. Even if he's been doing it for 5 years already, it still doesn't matter. The brain is not working right yet.
Yeah. I mean, I feel, again, all pure speculation. If this is him and if this was a predatory relationship, I feel like he was aging into being a predator and probably not even realizing he was becoming one, possibly. Right. I don't know. I mean, if it's taking people around him, and I don't know, to say, hey, dude, what the hell are you doing with this kid? And it's hitting like, what do you mean? Because just a year or two earlier, he was a kid too. Yeah. That would hit some, I don't know. I mean, it in no way am I excusing any of that. It is different though than if he was 40 and preying on this to a certain extent. He is 20, she was 15. It doesn't make this right or okay, but it is a different mindset, and the psychology is a bit different, and that needs to be taken into account when trying to understand the case. Doesn't make it right, wrong, doesn't do it, just trying to understand the psychology of what the hell is going on.
And especially at that age, the things we're doing at that age and throughout our lives, really, we're medicating trauma.
Yes.
And so, you know, when you're doing a certain thing and you see the output someone's having or the behaviors they're having, the first thing I'm doing as a behavior guy is like, all right, what caused that person to say this is a proper medication? I'm self-medicating for something that happened in my life. And so that's why I always go through those life arcs. So as soon as I started taking a look at this in the last couple of days, Tony and Stacy and Todd, the first thing I did is I was like, tell me about his family. I mean, I could actually go through my search terms. You know, as soon as I found out this, the first thing I do is I said, tell me about his background, his family, and where he grew up, all those things, so I can start identifying what would cause someone to create this kind of music or express himself in this way, or do matching tattoos, hypothetically, if that was it, you know, so I'm always looking at, here's who we are today, what back here caused that behavior, because if it seems to be an unhealthy behavior towards your environment around you or how you're expressing yourself, typically unhealthy behavior is a medication that we've created for ourselves for something that happened earlier in life. And so again, unless there's a seriously broken brain, Brian Kohberger, seriously broken brain, there's also medication in there as well. But this is when typically we're seeing otherwise healthy people doing really unhealthy things. It's because it's a medication of some sort that we're choosing from the environment around us to satiate and allow us to feel safe, heard, expressed, seen. And so, yeah.
And when you're saying that, we should clarify, you're not saying like prescription, you're just saying the whatever we're consuming, what we're consuming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And expressing. Yeah.
Yes.
So definitely not on the medication side, you know, all those, that's why some people get into drugs and alcohol.
Sure. I mean, it could be that. Yeah. Side. Yeah. It's whatever we're medicating ourselves with, whatever that may possibly be.
Well, for some people it's music. For some people it's art. It's all kinds of different things. Food.
100%.
I know a lot of people who medicate with food.
Yep.
So it's, you know, whatever your drug of choice is, for some it's more destructive to others.
And that's why, again, I'm not a licensed clinician on this, but that's why most clinicians and psychotherapists and all these things, what they'll do is they will not put a Band-Aid on, hey, trying to get you to stop drinking. They'll actually, well, let's go back in history to see what actually are you medicating, because if we can deal with the medication aspect of what you're trying to solve by drinking, you'll stop wanting to drink. Then we'll deal with the addiction side of it as well, because, all the GABA and everything's going on in the brain, or whatever it is, any unhealthy behavior, you always want to go back to the root cause of what caused it. And so in cases like this, you want to, like with Celeste, what was going on? Because I tried researching this too with her, because I did a deep dive on him and I did a deep dive on her the best that we could through what's available out there. Is like, what would inspire someone to want to run away from home 3 or 4 times? What's going on in that family, what's going on in that background. There's not a lot of data on that, but I did see those overlays between the two of them. There's a lot of similarities I found between the two of them, potentially, and potentially with a lot of people. And so that would be a potential magnet for each other.
Mm-hmm.
So
trauma bonding, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Trauma bonding to each other.
Yeah. Very much so. I like to medicate on Rick Astley. That's what I prefer to do. I like to get into. Come on, everybody. It's Friday.
Oh, my God.
It's Friday, and all the hits. 102.8 Mix FM. This is Rick Astley. Never gonna give you up. Nothing to the.
Oh, my God. He hit the post. You hear that, Todd? He totally nailed it.
Sing it again.
Full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You won't get this from any other guy. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. There we go.
Now,
Robin's like, I'm giving up my family vacation time for this.
I may have actually, I don't know if it's true, but I may have seen Robin dancing a little bit. Is that true, Robin?
I'm doing true crime with Rick Astley.
The world needs more Rick.
I gotta tell you though, Tony, out of all the impressions I've heard you do of singing, that was probably the best we've heard all week.
Thank you. You should hear the house when I'm in the shower. It's like just Rickroll every morning. It's like shower goes on and like
Yep. He probably has a disco ball that drops down and the lights start flashing in there when he's in the shower. So,
if we didn't
are we judging?
If we didn't bring some smiles with these tragedies, all we do is cry all day.
Exactly.
Hey, we got to find the happy somewhere, and if it's here and we make asses of ourselves, that's fine. That's what we do here. So
exactly.
So next Stacey will be doing abracadabra, is what we're saying.
Yes, it is Monday. Yeah. Before you go, Robin, I want to talk about another case here. Brian Kohberger, obviously, we've been covering it since its inception. New video just released recently of Brian Kohberger shopping. This is on a shopping trip. We can pull up the video. There's no sound to it. I'll just kind of narrate as it goes on as we all take a look at this. Go ahead and hit it. This is at a Costco. This is the morning. This is just moments or hours after the murders. He's wearing that white shirt, it looks like, that he was wearing in that shot in the bathroom. And he's going into the Costco without a Costco card. And just look at his gait. Look at his attitude. He's trying to negotiate his way into the Costco without a Costco card. Thinking he's just going to go on in. Dress shirt. And this would have been, was this a Saturday morning? Saturday or Sunday morning?
Empowered, doesn't he?
What's that?
He feels empowered.
Yes.
Yeah, and he had his coffee cup that allows him to feel like he's socially doing what he's supposed to do. So remember, he drinks coffee. I think
that's actually a water. It's actually a water bottle that he's holding. It appears he was on a mission for coffee, because what we're about to find next in this video is after he's finally accepts that he's not allowed into the Costco. I don't know if he's like, I can't come into the Costco. I mean, I just murdered 4 people. You're not going to let me into the Costco? Here he is circling a coffee stand in the white Hyundai Elantra. Eventually I think it's closed. I'm not sure, because eventually we're going to see him wander into a grocery store. So this is what he did. This is what he did the morning, literally just hours after the killings. He was on the phone with his mother, we know, during some of these times. He could be chatting it up with her right now as he slowly prowls next to the Mocha Joe or whatever this is.
In Starbucks, they're on every corner, and he's out, out west. There's a ton of Starbucks out there.
There he is in the Kroger.
Yep. Feeling like the big man.
Feeling like a big man, and then he circles the store a little bit, and then we find him checking out here.
So I want everyone to keep watching. So, the first thing I saw was that cup when he walked in. So when we're baselining the world around us, it's so easy to see people that stand out. And he just stands out because he still has no ability how to be a real boy. It's just he's incapable. And that's why he used props like whether it's a coffee cup or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
He sees, literally to me, he sees people drinking coffee. He thinks that's what social average people do. So he uses it like a prop. He uses everything in his life as a prop to try to be a real person. And he has no idea how to do it. Everything in life is complete mimicry to him. He has zero internal.
There he's the one at the checkout right now in the dress shirt.
But you see how he stands out?
Yeah.
Everything always stands out. His body language, his movements, his attire, what he's doing. He has no idea how to be a human. It's completely foreign to him. Why
is that? Why is he that clueless on just the basic functions?
This is 100% psychopathy. 100%. There is zero, and that's why I've been so doubled down, as many of us have, of don't overthink him. There's nothing in there. Yeah. So imagine this. He is a wolf right now trying to mingle around a herd of gazelles.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Here he comes.
And he's trying to blend in with the environment to try not to be alerting to all the prey around him. And so right now he's the lion at the watering hole, where he's actually not going to kill one of the gazelles sipping, but he's there. And he still looks like a lion, because that is exactly what's there. He is pure predator that has no idea how to fit in with the rest of the humanity. There's nothing there. That is psychopathy. That's why this is a missing part of his empathetic brain. It's just not there.
Let's rewind it back to the beginning again, Todd.
I'm sorry, Stacey, go ahead.
Robin, how many of those people are amongst us right now? I mean, you go to the grocery store and there's that weird guy who's standing by the honeydew melons, and he turns around and looks at you. Is that one of them? I mean, are they out there?
Yeah, they're out there. There's not as many that I've never seen anyone that spiked. I mean, again, I'm not a counselor, so I don't see as many as counselors would or psychologists would. But when in my time of doing it, I've never seen anyone that pure of that. But they're around us. And so what you also can do is, the reason it allows us to say things like that about him is because we have a lot of data points on him. We've been studying him for 4 years now, or we're coming up on 4. And so there's a lot of other data points that keep supporting that. So it's easier to have our confirmation bias. Like when we're watching this, I already know, all right, I'm dealing with a psychopath. Let's look for psychopathic things.
Sure.
And that's what I see. Now, when you look at the creepy guy at the honeydew melons, what we don't have is data points to say, is this someone who's just excessively lonely? Is he an energy vampire just looking to make a connection? Is he mentally disturbed? Does he have other traumas? I mean, so there's a lot of things that could be feeding into that behavior that we don't know about. But could he be high level on psychopathy? Yes, definitely could be, but we just don't know enough. But in this case, oh yeah, we know.
When you look at that, when we go back to the start of that, I mean, when we look at his gait, the way he walks in, the way that he's going to be questioned here again in a moment. And if you're not watching this, you can see it on our YouTube channel. He's questioning. He looks into the store like, you're questioning me?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was walking with intent, and then he got stopped. It looked like. Yeah. Like he was just going to barrel in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what would be really interesting to see is I would love to see video of him prior to the murders and after the murders.
Yeah.
Because a compare and contrast is what we really need here to see if that's like, if we're seeing this gait, is this just his normal arrogance? or is it because he feels empowered? I'd be very curious about that.
Well, and it's not difficult to get a Costco membership. You just go to the counter and pay.
You probably could even get like a day pass, honestly.
But remember, he thinks he's the big man. I mean, he does it in class. He does it as a teaching assistant. And so he would actually bully people all the time from the data we're seeing from how his students were reacting to him too.
He hasn't been fired yet.
Right. So, I mean, here's someone who's very arrogant and self-confident. It's like, hey, I'm Brian Kohberger. I can do this. I'm over here. I'm a PhD student. Why don't you let me in?
Don't you know who I am?
Yeah. I'm the guy who just killed all these kids and got away with it.
I mean, just think of, Stacey, you said earlier, like, are these people everywhere? I mean, look at these people just going in shopping.
But
it could be you. It could be anybody going in shopping.
But you also see how casually he walked out, though. So it didn't bother him that he got rejected. Did he do it just for the chance to showcase himself and interact? To me, that might have just been a moment of, hey, look at me, look how great I am. I don't really want to go in here. I just want to show you how confident I am. That could just be it too.
I'm going to guess he's having some. Go ahead, Robin.
I was saying he's not ranting or raving. In other words, we know he's got a lot of rage in him. He's not showing rage right here.
It's like he's walking in. There's like a cognitive distortion going on in his mind that it's like, look at me. He feels he's bigger than the room. And even though nobody in that room even notices he's there, in his mind, after this, he thinks it's like, look at this.
Or he might have. So there's so many possibilities because we don't know. Or he just actually has no idea how Costco works. And it's because it's such a social place. He feels like, hey, I'm going to try this place that I've never had the courage to go out before because there's all these people here. But now I feel more comfortable around people because I'm so arrogant. I need a pass to come in here? Oh, I've never been to Costco before. Huh. Okay. Well, thank you very much for that information. I'll go join a membership. I'll come back later. Thank you.
It's like a real sick, twisted version of winning the Super Bowl. You just won the Super Bowl. Where are you going to? Disney World, Kohberger. You just killed 4 people. What are you going to do? I'm going to Costco.
But you see how we can do all these different overlays if we don't have more data on it? But totally. To me, since he was turned away and we know he's got rage issues, that means he doesn't know he's about to be turned away. And he had no expectation of really being able to get in. So if he had, think about this, if he had an expectation that he could actually get in, and he was denied, he'd get pretty angry.
Jennifer in the comments just had an interesting point that could he have been establishing more of his alibi?
Possibly that too. Although different time.
A little late. Yeah.
A little late, but still maybe, I was out doing normal things. How could I have murdered anybody,
Sure. Mm-hmm. Or was it to make him feel more normal after murdering people?
I think it definitely I think he's reveling in the fact that he feels more normal right now.
The fact that as soon as he walks away, he takes a drink out of that water bottle, it's like arrogance. I see arrogance with it. Like, oh, okay, I'm just going to drink.
Yep.
I'm going to drink on the way in.
And he's the only one doing it, Todd.
Yep.
Yeah. It's creepy. That's why I wanted to play that with you, Robin, and
get your
good
stuff.
If you played that Rick Astley, I could make him dance around to it a little bit, but okay.
Never gonna let you in.
But again, just when we're looking at that, that's what we do. Just look at what stands out. Oh my God.
Robin's never coming back again.
I think you're right, Stacey.
Here we go. Look at him. He's dancing.
Great working with you, Robin.
Here's what's really great about it. He's spending the rest of his life.
Never been to Costco. Kohberger is getting rejected fast, and he wants to get some coffee going on.
And as Steve Conglave said, he's getting a big D right now.
Big D. Oh, there you go. All right.
The Gonzalez family is saying yes. The big D is coming for you, buddy.
Big D is coming.
Enjoy that Costco moment.
Kohberger's getting the big D in prison now. Okay.
Robin just got a glimpse into what it's like working with Tony.
He's been working with me for a long time.
Tuning in every day. And I've given up on all my professionalism and everything else.
We're ruining his reputation, Tony.
I've given up on all my dignity, Robin, so don't worry.
I'm going to start wearing my ACDC shirt on now instead of my collared shirt.
Be great. Why not? Why not? Robin Dreeke, retired FBI special agent, former chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Unit. We will get you to sing some karaoke one of these days. Enjoy the rest of your camping trip, and thank you for taking some time this morning to hang out with us.
Always, guys. Love being with you all. See you soon.
See you, Robin. Thank you. Let's continue on. We're going to keep going into the Kohberger conversation because that's not the only video that was released very, very recently. We have new questioning video, I should say. Police interviews is what it is of Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk. We know that one of them has been released. Another one has come out, and we're going to take a look at both of them this morning. We've not actually done that on the program yet. We're not doing it to pick it apart, but to really understand the psychological weight of what these two girls lived through. There's been so many horrible people out there that have said so many horrible things about these two young women who were utterly traumatized by that night, by that monster that walked into the Costco with that level of arrogance, that I think it is in no way to exploit these girls or have to show off the pain that they're going through in any sort of way like that, but more so for understanding and see, okay, what was it like for them? What was going through their minds hours after realizing four of their friends were just murdered in the very house that they were in, that they clearly were frightened that night as well and didn't know what was going on. So we're going to go through this and we'll break it down and we'll talk about what we're seeing and there's a lot here. We'll start with this one. Which one is this, Todd? Is this Bethany or
this is the other?
Okay, this is Dylan. Okay, so
Dylan,
this is Dylan, and this is the new one. This is the one that had just been released. It's a lot shorter than the other video that had been released, but let's take a look. This is them being interviewed by police that day.
So I think that somebody knows something that you said, I think what maybe you was, did you have in the recent history had anybody that you thought might have been stopping you or that was just acting weird?
No, but I mean, talking, remember about a month ago, I think one of the police officers that Kayla was outside taking Murphy out and she saw a shadow.
Yep. Okay.
And then when Kayla was at Winco, Zayna was in the car, she noticed this guy was following her. She she's getting put in the car and she could see in her mirror that the guy was behind her in the car.
Okay.
So obviously he was trying to follow her. And then that was about 2-3 weeks ago. And then about a week ago, our door is broken, but Maddie and home, the door is wide open. And obviously, yes, the door is broken, but that could also be something else as well.
Was the front door?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever find the back stairs open or anything? Did that usually locked? What's the condition?
I mean, we're pretty good at locking it.
Okay.
I don't think we locked it last night.
And it sounds like the car is fairly well known to the front door for people.
I mean, only people that know us, random people would not know, but
right.
Yeah.
Because you know it.
Yeah. That's,
obviously Dreeke, so somebody she's been moving with you guys possibly. I'm telling you, you know it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you ever say anything or report that weirdness to anybody else that hasn't you guys?
No, because I mean, you can't, there's no proof, I can't really do anything about it, and people are just weird sometimes. We didn't, obviously we were scared for a little bit. We didn't think much about it after that, because there's nothing weird after that.
Did she see what kind of car it was that I was driving? Something like that? When did she work?
She worked at home for a business, I believe. I can't remember what exactly it is.
So she was just she works from her apartment? Okay. What about Maddie and Zana? Where did they work?
Maddie and Zana both worked at Mad Creek, And then Maddie also had a paid internship through this business as well. That was online at home.
Who would know what that business is? What I didn't figure that.
You might know.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called. There's like, because they were business majors and through their majors, they're able to get these jobs.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I just had something about Haley talking about something like that,
Yeah.
and I heard that it was possibly new. So I just wanted to make sure that I got the right person having those kind of things. Did you hear Murphy barking or doing anything
Yes, he was barking a lot.
throughout the night, or?
And I heard Haley go upstairs, he's barking a lot, and then I could tell that he was outside. I don't know how the police found him, because he was in the house.
Okay.
But he has a puppy, he barks, but he was barking a lot if there was someone there.
And that was at 1:32, or was that around 4?
Yeah.
And when he was barking, when you first turned him on barking after she was up there playing, did you hear him inside go outside, or did he start outside?
Murphy was with Kayla when they were like dancing. They walked upstairs, he was still with her. And then when she went here, he started barking in the house. And then I believe the side door was open, and I think he went out that way, because I could tell that the sound of his barking was getting like more distant.
Do you think that Murphy would have went after him, where he was?
Maybe, but I mean, he's a puppy. He doesn't fully know that yet.
No, he would just be, if anything, probably playing with him.
Yeah, I don't know.
When the guy in black left, did he close the slider, or did he leave it open?
I don't know. I just ran downstairs.
Right. Okay. Okay, anything else? Okay.
No.
I'm gonna go talk to my guys who've done literary interviews
Okay.
and see if anybody's got questions.
There you go.
Got to turn my mic back on. So that's the that interview there. I know I got some things to say. What stood out to you?
I'm blown away at how calm she was. I mean, I can't even imagine the roller coaster of emotions, that she had to have gone through, from frantic craziness to, at that point, it just seems like she's worn the hell out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It seems like she's numb.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just this numbness about her that she's like, the trauma is definitely there and the shock is there, but it's just like, I don't know what to do with this information. I'm just giving it to you. I can't process it right now. It's how I felt through it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of thinking there, a lot of just trying to figure out what the hell is the world looking like now, that she's woken up and this is the reality of what's going on. The dog being there, and I mean, you're got to be double thinking everything, especially when you are being questioned about, excuse me, your door being locked. Is it locked? Is it not locked? We're pretty good about it. We're not. Look, I mean, as an adult, it's easy to go. I mean, I lock my shed. I always have. I'm just like that. A lot of people aren't. Most college kids are not. Of course, you would think you're a house of college girls. Why the hell are you not locking your doors? Because they're college girls and they haven't experienced, fortunately, up until this point in life, a lot of horrible threats like this, or unfortunately, so ignorance can be bliss.
It could just be one person too. Maybe everybody in the house is really vigilant about keeping the doors locked, but you've got the ding dong in the room next to you.
You got all these people
always forgets to lock the door.
People are coming and going. You're always going to have the ding dong. You're always, and look, at that age, everybody's just not that bright when it comes to security and things of that nature. There's not.
Also, Tony, though, you said it, like, you don't look through life thinking something like this is going to happen in your immediate circle. Even Even outside the immediate circle of people you live with, coworkers, loved ones who live out of state, you don't think it's ever going to touch you.
No, and then until you live it, then I can guarantee these girls are locking their doors every place they go today. And that lesson should not have been learned that way, but it wasn't even a lesson in that. This guy, Kohberger, would have gotten in. He would have found a way to get in. It's not hard to pry a patio door.
Tony, Jennifer said, you live by your experiences. And, you guys have kind of laughed at me about this, but this is the first time I've lived by myself in, 22 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm training in martial arts. You guys laughed at me, but I literally have 6 knives that are ready to go because I live in a ground floor apartment. It's kind of nerve-wracking. I've got a sliding glass door. I've got several windows. I work in true crime. So I'm seeing all this stuff. I have knives strategically placed that if somebody were to come in here and attack me, I know exactly where to go in each room that I could get a knife and defend myself. It's a weird feeling and it sounds paranoid, but I'd rather have that than not.
A note that we will not be having the Christmas party at Stacy's house. Too many knives.
No way.
Although if we have to cut cake, we could do it in any room.
Exactly. Then we're good.
They're very sharp knives, let me tell you. Yeah, I mean, you live by your experiences. Jennifer was right. Yeah. This is what you do to protect yourself. And you know what? 30 years ago, this never would have crossed my mind. But life experience puts you exactly where you are. Yeah. And I've got like a bar in my sliding glass door because you can jimmy a door open. Yeah,
I have that. I've always, yeah. Well, and I think a lot of it comes from like your upbringing as well. I mean, I was brought up in a fairly anxious mother, or with a fairly anxious mother. Todd laughs. Is he getting in the way down there at the radio station, Todd? I can come get him if I need to. Every day,
Mom. Everything's fine, Mom.
Every day.
This is a story we're going to need to hear.
Every day for like the first 6 months I worked at the radio station at like my school bus would drop me off and I'd go into the studio with Todd. And then my mom's call, is he getting in the way? Every day. Same
Seriously,
conversation.
Todd, this happened?
He's not exaggerating by much.
It's God.
No, it's serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
where the hell was I going with all that? I lost my train of thought. But it is.
Well, you grew up with a.
You grew up with it, yeah. So I grew up with that, and we always had bars in our patio doors. The doors are always locked. You check them before you go to bed, and that it's always been second nature to me. So, but that's me. That's my experience. It doesn't mean everybody had that by any means. And as you get older, you start to realize, not everybody has that experience. No, not everybody is locking their door, and that's one of the anxiousnesses. Or the anxieties of my mother that I'm okay with. I'm good to lock my door. I'm glad I have that anxiety. I have that in the back of my mind every night before I go to bed. Let's just go check the doors, make sure they're locked, and go to bed. I'm cool with that when I think that's a healthy anxiety for anyone to have.
But what harm does that cause? I mean,
nothing. It makes it a little inconvenient sometimes.
I'd rather have you be safe and have that door locked than. Yeah. You're kind of scatterbrained and you don't lock it and somebody decides to come and do something.
But I also can't fault a group of late teens and early 20s who maybe who were not brought up that way, who maybe had their doors open all the time, to suddenly have it click in their mind and go, I really should put bars in all those doors and I should do this, I should do that, because it's not even there. It wasn't programmed. So you can't expect it to just magically show up if it's not there, if they've never had an experience or a reason or, a motivation to do that. And it takes motivation to do that. And not motivation in like you're unmotivated, but in there's something that's triggering you to do this because you are viewing a possible perceived threat. They weren't thinking that way. And it's not their fault. They're young kids.
No.
Yeah.
So,
that's where somewhere right after the murders, somebody was asked about the situation and somebody said, I don't remember who it was, but they literally said, nothing ever happens in Moscow.
Exactly.
So that was their mindset. Nothing like this was ever going to happen there. So why worry about some dog barking?
And most people make it through life just fine and nothing happens. And they're able to live with the doors unlocked. And, great. You're lucky as shit if that's how it works. And more power to you that That doesn't have to be something. And that's why so many people just don't do it, because the odds are not in your favor that something bad is going to happen. They're more in your favor that it's all going to work out okay. So that's, you know, when I see the judgments out there, why didn't they do this? Why did they? Yeah, I mean, if it was my daughter that was there, I would be like, you guys really need to lock the door. And you know what? It wouldn't make a goddamn bit of difference, because people are coming and going from the place, and one person saying they want to do it ain't going to change it. So they got to have grace with the people, these kids, the way that some of these people have been attacking these girls. Let's take a look at the other interrogation video that's been released. This was released a few weeks ago. We haven't really gone through it much, but let's take a look at this.
First and foremost, if you can just take a deep breath for me.
Interview, I should say, not interrogation,
okay.
Where somebody
All
tears
I'm
me
going to do
apart.
is try and get an idea of what you've heard, what you saw, and any timeline, any information that you can give us so that we can try and figure out what happened, okay? So just take a deep breath for me. I know this isn't going to be easy. I'm going to go from there, okay? Can I get your name? What's your first name? What's your middle initial? And your last name? And your date of birth?
2003.
And you live there at 1122 King Road?
Yeah.
I was a family with a friend. And what state you're in, Nevada?
Nevada.
Do you have your phone number too? So what we're going to be doing is taking people's phones for a little while, and we're going to try and. So because I don't know if you called and you want to make any phone calls or anything like that. What we do in an investigation like this is we try and collect as much information as we can. Okay. Anything that might be small, you may not think is important for us to find out what happened, but is very crucial. So taking something off your phone might be extremely useful for us, even if it's something that you don't realize, okay? And we'll try and get that phone back to you as fast as we can. Okay. Is that okay with you? Okay. So is this your phone here?
Yeah, can I tell my mom?
That's fine. That's what you're on. And then what I'm going to need is your passcode in your phone. Or here we tune it to this. We can even turn off your passcode, okay?
How do you take it? Oh.
You did that? And if it won't let me do it, that's fine. You can just give me or tell me your passcode.
I just don't know my names.
Okay. What is your passcode? Okay. And what type of...
Can I see my mom text me quickly? Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Obviously, she's far more emotional than
any social media you have, like
the other one.
Facebook. And,
It shows just how different people react to things.
do you
And trauma.
have any other social media type sites?
I have,
Those the big ones?
yeah.
Okay.
You know,
All right. So we're going to try to go back and try to get a little bit of the timeline, okay? So what did you guys do last night? More specifically, were you, if you were by yourself and not with a group? What is...
Ethan was in the house, so it was me and I.
So you're with
One of them is my roommates, and one of them is her boyfriend.
Okay. So you're with Ethan
And Xana.
Lannon? Mm-hmm. Can you spell that for me?
X-A-N-Y. Or A-N-A, sorry.
X-A-N-A.
N-A.
Okay. Okay. So I'm just trying to... Sometimes it helps me put names together. So you were with Ethan and Xana last night.
Yep.
And do you know Ethan's last name?
G-Man. I don't know how to spell it.
That's fine. And Xana's last name?
Kernettle.
Do you know how to spell it?
I think it's K-E-R-N-O. Maybe another guy, D4vd or something like that.
Okay. Okay, so you're with them. What time did you guys get the second guys up to you?
Around 8 something. Maybe 8:30.
So 8:30 p.m.?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. And prior to that, were you guys just in your house? You can see you left from your house.
We didn't was that formal because he met with her sister. She didn't have a date, and then
Okay.
we were just hanging out at her house. And then he came over, and we all walked over together.
Okay. So that was you, Ethan, Xana. Was there another person out there? Or just the three of you that
Maddie
walked over?
walked over with us.
Okay. And that's
Logan.
Logan? Is it N-A-D-D-I-E?
Her real name is Madison, though, I believe.
Okay. So you guys all walked over to. You went about 8:30. Well, were you guys all pretty much together, or just kind of mingling throughout the house next to the?
We were all very much together, and then Maddie left to go to the club with Kaylee. And then I was with Ethan and Xana most of the night, but then one of my friends came. And I hung out with her the rest of the night.
Okay. And who was that?
Her name's Yes.
Can you spell it for me? Okay. And his last name?
I don't know how to pronounce it. And her full name is bigger than that.
Okay, that's fine. Do you have a phone number for her?
Yeah.
Send your phone. Okay, you can get that. Okay, so you were with, and at that point, Ethan and Xana were just kind of hanging out still at the house. Okay.
And then I went to our other friend's house.
Okay. What time was that at?
I don't know, maybe like 12-ish. I think like that to be wrong.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
And where's that house?
It's just like up the street. Yeah, I don't know that address.
Okay, up the street from.
St. Mackay,
Okay.
kind of.
So you guys are at St. Mackay, so you're walking back towards.
We're walking back towards my house, and then we go this way.
So like when back to Tabor Street, you went on? So if you walked all the way from Sigma Naves.
First,
Sigma Mackay, sorry.
yeah. You know the apartments, the whites?
Yep, right on the whites.
It's like that straight that way.
So on Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Do you know roughly where on Taylor? Or does she live maybe on the other off streets?
It's on Taylor, but it's like one of that end houses by the nurse. I don't know. How do we explain it?
Alright. Okay. And whose house is it that you went to?
It's, and I don't know if there ever remained.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, so you're at this house. How long were you here?
Maybe like 40 minutes. And then I left by myself. And that's my house.
So you walked home maybe around 1-ish?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you see when you got home?
Me. We're sitting on the couch watching Vampire Diaries. And no one else was home yet.
Okay. And is another roommate or?
She's a bathroom.
Oh, okay. And
Actually, don't remember her last name.
that's fine. And is live with you guys too, or just with
Just a friend.
Okay.
And then she left.
What, do you know what time she left at? But you were all watching.
Vampire Diaries.
Okay. And anything happened during that time period?
Just hanging out.
Okay. Do you know who else was in the house at that time?
No worry.
No one? Just the three of you? Okay. So, what? Let's go a little bit more than what happened next.
Maddie and Kaylee came home from the club. Left.
Maddie and him?
Kaylee.
Kaylee? Okay. And they got home from the club. You know what time that might have been?
I think I told one of the cops that was talking to me at the house, like, better times.
It's okay.
I don't really remember right now. Maybe like
Okay.
2 something, 1.
So if you got home around 1, that would have put them in.
Like 1:45, 2, something like that.
So when you're bar break, if you had your day? Like near bar break? Bars normally close at 2 o'clock here.
Oh, yeah. They went to Brock Truck after, so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. What did you do after that, after Maddie and Kaylee got home?
We all hung out in Kaylee's room for a little. And I talked, and then Maddie and I took Murphy out to pee the dog. And then I said I was going to go to bed because I was tired. And she said she's going to go to bed too. And then I went to my room. I was going to sleep. And then she came around and asked if I had Murphy, and I said no. And then I went to bed.
Okay. So what time did you think you took Murphy out?
I'm like 3 to 50.
2:30 to
7.
Okay. And where do you normally take Murphy to go to the bathroom?
Just the back door. The kitchen.
So which one is 1122? So if I'm coming up King Road off the Taylor.
It's the big white house on the end.
On the way to the very top on the right?
Oh, well, it's technically all clean, but the address is King.
Okay. So is it the one that's tucked back as you're going up to 500 Clean Road? Those big apartments? It's kind of tucked back just a little bit? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you normally go out the back deck then?
Yeah.
Okay. I know Cheshire then. Okay, so you go there. You and Maddie take the dog out.
Mm-hmm.
And then how long do you think that took?
I was out there for maybe like 10 seconds.
Okay. Okay. So then you both come back in. So you and Maddie both
I
come
came
back
in
in.
before she did.
Okay. Did Maddie still have the dog then?
Yes, I believe so.
So you went out for a little bit, came back in. Do you know what time Maddie came back in?
Mm-hmm.
And you went straight to bed when you came back in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long after you when you went to bed do you think Maddie came back?
Actually, I came in, grabbed some chips, went to my room, and watched the show for a little, and then I went to bed.
What were you watching?
It's called Baby Daddy.
Okay. How long do you think you watched it?
Maybe like 30 minutes.
So one episode maybe?
Yeah. Maybe like a half.
Okay. And did Maddie come in during that show or after?
She just knocked on my door, I think, during and asked if I like Murphy. I should know.
Okay. Then what happened after that?
I just went to bed. And then I woke up, but I was like half asleep, right? I just thought I saw like a firework or something. Like it just sparkled, like under my door. And I thought I heard like something kind of fall. I thought I heard Murphy bark, and I thought people were just making like food, like, and he had was here or something, and not something over, because he's usually loud in the kitchen upstairs.
Okay. So what do you mean by you heard a firework?
It sounded like a whole firework, and then there was like a spark. And he went by my, like, I'm on the bottom floor.
Okay.
So it kind of looked like it came down there, but I don't know.
So is Murphy your dog?
Kaylee's dog.
Kaylee's dog?
Kaylee and her ex-boyfriend's dog.
Okay. So you heard Murphy bark right after you heard what you thought was a firecracker?
Yeah, something like that, like I don't know, dogs bark at random things. Sometimes when he's happy, he'll bark.
Okay. It didn't sound like an angry growl or anything like that, just a bark?
I don't really know. I was like half asleep.
Okay.
I just sounded like bark.
So, hear the fireworks, kind of see a spark underneath the door. Murphy barks. What'd you hear after that?
Pretty much nothing.
Nothing.
That's it.
Okay. And you thought maybe someone was just in the kitchen at that point?
Yeah, just like someone accidentally fell into the table or something.
Okay.
And she was like with Murphy.
Do you know about what time that might have been? Do you have any idea?
Like 4 or something. I tried to call all of them at like 4:20ish around that time, and no one was answering. I thought they just went to bed or something.
Okay. And what happened after that?
And called me. She said she thinks she saw someone, and I didn't know like really what to think of it, because sometimes we think we hear things a lot in the house, but it's usually just Ethan walking around. But she came. I told her to come in my room, and she said good to me, and we could lock the door, just stand there just in case. there was anything, and that's all I knew. We went and fell back to sleep.
You didn't hear anything else? Okay. No one else talking?
Yes.
Okay. Did you make it to your room then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What time do you think she got in your room?
Around 4:20, 4:30.
Okay, about the same time?
Yeah.
Where's her room located to yours?
I'm the only one on the bottom floor, right by the front door.
Okay.
And then you go up the stairs. Xana's room, and Xana's room, the kitchen, and then upstairs is Maddie and Kig's.
Okay. And where's the room?
Right by the kitchen.
Right by the kitchen? Okay. And did she say anything to you when she got into the room?
She said she thought she saw me in, but I didn't know what to think of it. I was like still half asleep, and I was like, I didn't know what to do. It didn't sound like I didn't hear screams, I didn't hear anything. I don't really know.
Okay. Okay. And notice that she didn't say anything more than she just saw someone.
That's all I 100%.
Okay. So your bed then, if it wasn't at the right house, you have a parking lot, front door, and your bedroom's just to the right? Okay. And that's where you slept from by the time you finally got into your room around 4-ish or so. Actually, before that.
Really, 3-something.
Yeah. So you were in there sleeping. Okay. Dylan got to your room maybe somewhere around 4:20-ish, but Dylan was already home at that point. You knew that Maddie and Kaylin were home. Do you know when anyone else in the house got home?
I don't know when Xana or even got home. I didn't hear them come in or anything.
Okay. And the last time you saw Xana and Ethan was at the same house? Okay. So, did you see anything weird at the party?
Just a little.
Okay. Well then, since how the way that they're set up, where everyone hanging out primarily up in the main common room area, or most people hanging out in individual rooms and stuff like that?
It was a little bit of a mixture at first. It was in the, like, apartments, and then it was the main room.
Okay.
And then as I was leaving, I wanted to grab a backpack from our friend's room, and Xana and Ethan were sitting on the couch, like, listening to music.
Okay.
And then
And that was in the main room, or that was in
an apartment.
In the apartment? Okay. Did you hear of anything that happened to anybody?
Okay.
Was there anyone strange or odd hanging around the party?
Okay.
Do you know of anybody in your house that has an issue with anyone? Any ex-boyfriends? You have done it?
All their ex-boyfriends were really nice. They still are good friends.
Have you ever had any of your roommates complain about anyone stalking you?
Yes, then. Once though, Kaylee said when everyone was like gone, me and we were at the sorority house for a meeting, and it was like Kaylee and she was taking Murphy out. This was a wild one. And she said she swears she saw someone staring at her while she was taking the dog out.
How long ago that was?
Maybe like a month. She could see like a man silhouette like staring at her.
You think it was about a month ago? Did Kaylee have any issues with anyone?
I've been.
Okay. None of them have made any comments or statements about anyone trying to come onto them or anything like that? And you said that all of the ex-boyfriends and that, they're all normally very nice and stuff like that. Are any of them any recent breakups?
One, but
Like I said, be a little bit help. Can you give me a little information on that one?
his name's he lived like
Okay.
down the street.
On Taylor?
On King, I think.
Okay.
And he and Kaylee share Murphy.
Okay.
And they dated for 7 years.
And that's in Kaylee?
Mm-hmm. Or something like that.
And they did it for 7 years?
Something like that. Since high school. And the family's really close to him.
Okay. And they shared Murphy?
Mm-hmm. Frankie.
Okay. How long ago did they break up?
Maybe like 3 months or something. But they're still on really good terms.
Do you know why they broke up?
Well, she was gonna move to like Texas.
Where's Kaylee from?
Quarterly.
Okay. Where is
Quarterly.
Okay. Okay. You said that they're still on good terms and no complications?
Yeah.
Okay. Has Kaylee been seeing anyone else lately?
Not really that I know of.
Okay. Do you know when she was going to move to Tempe?
After this semester. But then apparently she wasn't going to anymore. I don't know.
Do you know what changed your mind?
Well, I think she wanted to stay here with all of us.
Okay. Is there anything else you think is important for me to know? And you might remember things later. That's very normal, okay? If you think to remember anything else, please reach back out to us. And then bring me back in and we'll get that information, okay? Perfect. Time to go, okay? And you don't remember Kaylee's last name?
I think it's all this.
Gonzalez?
Yeah, I think all this.
Who kept your cell phone?
I don't know what it's called.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I very much thank you for sitting down with me, okay? You're going to get out of the room, stand here with your friends, all right? You sure there's nothing else?
Anybody that is trying to point fingers at these girls after seeing that, you should be thoroughly ashamed.
Yep.
Can somebody fill me in a little bit on that? Because we had quite a few comments about some of the nasty stuff that's apparently going on with these two girls. What are people saying? Why are they saying it?
Because they're mentally ill. I don't know. I mean, there are groups of people that still are pro-burgers. There are still people out there that think he's innocent. And other than simply calling it what it is, there is a personality defect, a mental illness or personality disorder, or something is wrong with anyone who's thinking that way, because there's no healthy brain that would think that. None. That's what it is. You're sick. There's something seriously wrong with you if you think that those two girls had anything to do with this murder. Now, I'm not against, at the very beginning, looking at all options, questioning everything, try to figure it out. Sure, of course, you need to do that, but we're almost 3 years past the point of when that was done. We've established what reality is, and if you can't get along with reality because you don't like reality and you'd like to live in this little delusional world out there, you have no place in the world with the rest of us. I'm sorry if the people that are out there that still harass these people. It's sick.
Well, and the other thing is Brian Kohberger pleaded guilty. So
oh, exactly.
He stepped up and said, I did this.
No matter what, you can't change some people's points of view or wherever cognitive distortions that they're operating under, because they think that this sounds crazy, that someone would say this, that, oh, it's, you're covering. Yeah.
I'm sitting there listening to that going, I don't know how I would I don't think I could give them any information about phone numbers or
Sure.
I would be a nervous wreck.
I would be just, bleh.
Yeah, I could not answer a question in a situation like that. I'd shut down.
Yeah,
I just would.
It's these girls went through absolute hell, and the hell. It's the same monsters that went after the people that like the Sandy Hook families and stuff like that. It's the same distorted, fucked up thinking from these people that really, if they went on a cruise and the boat sunk, I would be happy. It's like, oh, the Alex Jones cruise that takes all the Sandy Hook folks that believe this shit is fake and that those are fake actors, and the boat sinks and everyone goes away. Well, you know what? That's natural selection working in one big boat sinking. I would praise that if that happened.
These girls didn't ask for this to happen to them.
No, you're a blight on society. If you're
in a situation, they weren't in a dark alley wearing, provocative clothing. It wasn't, they didn't ask. And I'm not saying that a woman wearing that, I'm being sarcastic here, but none of this was due to anything that they did other than existing. So to point blame at them in any fashion is just fucking ridiculous.
I don't get where people just can't accept facts sometimes. And that's really what it comes down to here. There's no reason to think that it wouldn't be anyone other than Brian Kohberger. There's no logical reasons other than a very broken brain that's connecting dots in places where they don't go. And sometimes people's brains just don't connect those dots. And if you're one of those people hearing that and you're thinking Kohberger is innocent and that these girls had something to do with it, seek help. Seek help. Because it's not going to end well for you if this is the line of thinking that you're operating under. There's something seriously wrong with you. I don't know any way to say that. Yeah, I mean, just the sheer raw emotion. I don't really have anything to add to it. I have nothing. I mean, what do you say? She's trying to get out everything that occurred, the hell that they went through that night, and try to explain the reasoning for their fear. And look, these kids grew up in a very different time than the rest of us. The ways that many other generations respond to trauma, respond to reaching out to authorities is very different than what we've had. That's the only way I can try and describe it, because at first I had difficulty wondering, why didn't they call 911? What's going on? Like, why was that? And not that they were like hiding something, but like, what is the process going on here that would not be the first choice? And once you really dig into it and understand that way of thinking, and you understand that generation, and you understand how they have been brought up and how they respond to things, it makes sense. It just does. It's a very different response that they have to things than we do. Not because they don't want to get help, but because they weren't brought up in the same way, where we have a phone on the wall, we call 911 if something happens. It's more community oriented in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of ways to look at that. And if you want to take 5 minutes of your life and dig into that, you can. But it does add up. And clearly, yeah, if you think she's a murderer, you're insane.
That was especially the last one, a lot to process.
Oh my God.
A lot to process.
Yeah. I was on the fence about, that one's been out for a little while, but, and I was on the fence about playing it, and I'm like, well, you know what? I've been seeing too many idiots out there on this, so I thought let's talk, let's bring that one out there. So there you go. That's the latest. We got to see Kohberger shopping today, and
dancing to Rick Astley.
Rick Astley. If you need a little pick me up, just go back about an hour in the show. Your weekend's going to be magic. Magic 104.
I marked it. It was at like minute 37, I think.
Did you mark it?
Well, kind of. I wrote it down, actually.
Oh, it's around funny. There. There you go. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up today's episode of the program. Be sure to press subscribe wherever you're downloading podcasts. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section on all of the cases that we're covering for you right here at the Hidden Killers Podcast and True Crime Today. You can do that on our YouTube channel. Just search Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi, and you will find us right there. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. For Todd and Stacy, I'm Tony Bruschi. We'll talk again real soon.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers Podcast.